Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I am David Jones. I'm Sergeant of Arms. Welcome to Queen City Toastmaster. Welcome back from Thanksgiving. It's nice to see a nice full room again tonight. I guess we're all getting ready for the next holiday, so we got to get our speeches ready, get confident to deal with the families again and at Christmas and whatever holidays you celebrate. And we do have a full meeting tonight. We got two speakers. We got an inspirational speaker who's going to give us some great thoughts. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn over to our president. Now, since our Toastmaster hasn't shown up yet, I will be the impromptu Toastmaster. She doesn't show up, but so I'll be your standby. So please welcome our president, Elvis Lopez.
Thank you, David, the man with multiple hats. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Welcome to Queen City Toastmasters. Tonight we have a very interesting meeting with several speakers. We had 3 speakers, but today we're going to have only 2. We are going to go over different scenarios and things that are going to continue helping us move along in our path to becoming a better club and helping our members out. It's good to see a full house today, in person and also online. And I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our guests. Please tell us your name, how did you hear about our club, and what are you trying to accomplish by visiting a Toastmasters club. I would like to start with our guests that are visiting us online, and I see Adrian. Did I say that correctly? Adrian, can you unmute yourself and please help us out by introducing yourself, please?
Yes, hi, my name is Adrian Freeman, and I discovered Toastmasters through your Instagram page. And the thing that I would like to most achieve is building self-confidence when speaking in front of people. I do stand-up comedy, and I just want to be able to speak better and clearer and just have more confidence in front of a crowd.
Thank you. You are in the right place. Welcome to Queen City Toastmasters.
Thank you.
And now I would like to give the opportunity to those who are on site. And I would like to ask our VP of Membership, Mr. Sean Soha, to help me out with the members that are online to help them pass along the mic and let them introduce themselves.
Thank you very much. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests. Great to be here tonight. We do have a few guests here in person. So if you could, I'd like to introduce, if you could introduce yourself, tell us about, just tell us your name and why you're here. That'd be wonderful. We'll start with our first guest. Thank you.
So my name is Andrea Fabre de Roussac. You don't have to remember my last name, just Andrea is fine. I'm originally from France. And the reason I'm here is because I have to do a monthly business review towards my CAO and CFO for the 3 businesses that I'm managing, and I am terrified every month. So I'm trying to find a way to overcome this, and hopefully Toastmaster is the right way to go. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And you didn't seem terrified at all. You seem like a natural. Next is Rick. Rick, this is your second time here? Nick, I apologize, Nick.
Hi, yeah, my name is Nick. This is my second visit to Queen City Toastmasters. Actually, as of yesterday, I am a full-fledged member, sent the money in, so I filled out all the paperwork, so I think I'm good. Enjoyed my visit 2 weeks ago, and I think this is going to be a good place to just help me grow in public speaking and being comfortable in front of the crowds and in front of the microphone. So look forward to the journey ahead. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Nick. Next, we have Dr. Eric Laxter has brought a guest, special guest, Judy. Judy, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why you're here?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Judy Laxer. I heard about Toastmasters through my husband, Eric Laxer, and he brought me here. But I really am here because he comes home every week from this meeting so excited and pumped up. And I've seen incredible changes in his outward extrovertedness that has really impressed me. And I just want to see what you all have done to him.
Awesome, great. Thank you very much. And do we have one more guest? And we have one more guest as well. Please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Daniela Nelson. I'm actually a Toastmasters from Friendship Baptist on Baysford Road. I haven't been in a long time. My goal is to speak clearly, where people can understand what I'm saying, and I need to see her. Ooh, wee. So thank you for allowing me to come in and share this time with you.
Thank you so much for coming. And I will now return the mic back over to our president.
Thank you, Sean. And I would also like to welcome our supporting members who are members of other clubs, but are so regular in our clubs that they feel like they're part of Queen City Toastmasters. Let's also welcome Alan, Carla Sherry from South Park Toastmasters, and also our timer, Sonia, who is from South Park Toastmasters. So that will complete our introduction with the guests, and I would like to go on with the next part of our meeting. As part of our routine, every day we have a volunteer Toastmaster who is the one that leads the rest of the meeting, and it's called the Toastmaster of the Day. Today we have a very dynamic member of our club. She is a butterfly. Please help me welcome Andrea, Chocolate Butterfly, our Toastmaster of the Day.
They were prepared for me. Thank you, Toastmaster Elvis, and welcome to our theme of the day is some of our favorite themes. And so those who know me know I like songs and music and everything theatric, right? So of course it's from a few of our favorite things. So today we're going to talk about a few of our favorite things with our Toastmasters, and excuse me online for coming away from the camera as I grab my wonderful trusty iPad here that I do a lot of things on. I was trying to, they haven't announced it yet. Okay, good. Okay, so I need a, what's it? I need the agenda. Does anyone, is there an extra agenda? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Because I have some co-partners to help me through this meeting today. I'm not going to do this on my own. No leader works alone. Okay. That's one tidbit for you to learn today. You never are successful if you stand on an island alone. Okay. You always need a good team behind you. And so I have a good team, but before I call my wonderful team, I need to be inspired. I like inspired. I like jokes. So I'm not sure if this person is going to give me an inspiration or they're going to give me a joke, but they're going to make me smile. So I'm going to call up for today Heather Jacoby. She's going to be our inspirational or joke master of the day.
Andrea. Hello, friends. I don't have a joke, but I do have an inspiration.
And it turns out today is Gifting Tuesday. That's going viral on Instagram, hashtag Gifting Tuesday. And so I thought, what is a way that I can inspire people to pay it forward, to do random acts of kindness? And I'm going to tell you a story, a childhood story that I have that inspired me. And so I hope that it inspires you. I'm sorry, friends, I'm sorry. Before I was 10 years old, I had a near-death experience. And in that experience, I'm going to keep it brief, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. But in that experience, there was a life review. And in that life review, this is a matter of minutes, but it was sped up faster than the speed of light, the review of my life. And while I was under 10 years old, I reviewed every incident that I had in my entire life, whether I was walking down the street and I was giving people eye contact, whether I was smiling, what was taking place, and how our interaction mattered. And I don't want to use the word graded because there wasn't an emotional attachment to it, but there was a cause and effect. And if we smile at somebody who's having a bad day, and then they go home and have a kinder demeanor to their child, who then goes to the neighbor next door and they have a better play date, or they're kinder to each other for that day, we know that as a ripple effect. But what I learned in my near-death experience is that it's real, and that it matters, and that how we treat each other, it matters. And we're reviewed on that in our life. Where that takes us, that I don't know, but I know it matters. And so with this, the opposite also matters, because I think sometimes in our world, we confuse kindness for weakness. And so we go out into the world and we extend kindness. And what I'm encouraging you all to do is a challenge for the month of December. If you see a homeless person, and maybe it's not something you want to contribute to monetarily, but you would like to give a bottle of water or offer food, or even just a smile, like, I see you, and it can feel uncomfortable. It can be awkward when you look at those people, because for me, it makes me feel a little bit awkward, but it's challenging for me to think, well, I can have a moment of awkwardness just to give a smile or acknowledge somebody who's suffering or is in that experience for whatever reason. But at the same time, if you see somebody doing something cruel or not kind or contributing to the world in an evil or a cruel way, speak up, say something about it, stop it, because we can stop that ripple as well as we can spread generosity and kindness. And so I share my near-death experience wisdom with you in hopes that you can take that out into the world for the month of December and find random acts of kindness that you can do, or ripple effects, because you don't just affect the person that's in front of you, that person then affects another person. And we are all in a community together, and it matters. So thank you.
Heather, you matter as well. And just because it is Giving Tuesday, I would like to let everybody know who knows me and knows what I'm all about. I'm about books, bling, butterflies, and babies. And so for Christmas, BU Butterfly, which is my company, we are giving away 100 books to some underprivileged children in our shelters. So if you would like to join us, you can either make a donation or you can buy a book for one of your family members. See me online, however you want to do it. But this is Giving Tuesday. So my books, my drive and my heart may not be where yours is, but find somewhere for you to start giving back. And I almost said amen because I'm a minister and I do that. So I won't do that today. But first of all, I would like to call on, like I said, I have a team. And today our team consists of a few good people that are called Queen City Toastmasters. And today my grammarian is one of my good Toastmaster friends. I'm going to call up Mr. Eric Laxer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Andrea. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Eric Laxer, and I'm the grammarian this evening. And as grammarian, my role is to listen carefully to everybody's speeches, identify proper and improper uses of phrases, words, and language, and give examples of some of those at the end. And my job is also to count filler words. And so you know what I'm talking about. And my job is also to introduce our word of the day. The technical team was off this week, so we've had to make do. And in keeping somewhat with our theme of our favorite themes, thank you. The word of the day is cherish, which means to hold dear or to keep with care and affection. For example, I cherish my childhood memories. So please do your best to use this word whenever you are speaking, and I will be doing a word count of our word of the day, and I will give you my report later in the meeting. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Dr. Laxer. That was great. So we do have some continued people that are a part of this team that I really do cherish. So I'm going to use that word. And that would be our timer. We did announce her earlier. That is Miss Sonia Pons, another good Toastmaster friend of mine. Sonia, it's on to you. She's online, I believe.
Yes, I am. Hello, family. Thank you so much for allowing South Park to share in your festivities today. And time is a precious commodity, so we must cherish it. And in Toastmasters, we time our speeches and table topics in order to show how much we appreciate and cherish our time. With that said, today we have 2 speeches. They are 5 to 7 minutes. At the green, it will flash at 5 minutes. You are good to go. Go for the green. At 6 minutes, you'll see yellow. That means you're getting really close to the sun. The shades are on. And then at 7 minutes, red, you're getting sunburn. Hold up, hold up. And you have 30 seconds to complete. For our table topics, again, you're good to go. 1 minute, you will see the red. At 1.5 minutes, you will see the yellow. And again, there's some sunburn happening if you see this at 2 minutes. And for our evaluations today, which are 2 to 3 minutes, again, green at 2, yellow at 2.5. And I haven't found functions over here. My computer is too close to the sun. And then red at 3 minutes. So thank you so much. And I'll fix why I'm in the sun so bad. All right, back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saya. That was awesome. Okay, so we're going to keep on moving on the meeting. And I chose this theme because, again, I love just being quirky. And I was thinking about my journey in Toastmasters. It's been about a year and a few months. And I wanted to make sure that everybody knew why they were here. Yeah. So we always have reasons why we do things or initialize things. At work, we call them the initiator, and then we have the approver or most times the rejector, but we don't have that here. We only have the initiator, and the initiator is you. And with that, theme number 1 is use or find your voice, because you are important. You matter, as Heather told us earlier. earlier, and you have to find why you're important. But the only way that people will know that you're important or understand who you are or know what your voice is going to say is if you speak up. So here at Toastmasters, one of our famous themes is for you to speak up. So with that being said, we have a couple of people today who signed up to do just that. They want to speak up. And today we have a speech by Eric. I'm sorry, not Eric. I want to say Eric because I see an E, but it's Toastmaster Elvis Lopez. He's our first speaker, and he will be speaking. And I don't see the title of his speech, so I'm going to let him. Always be prepared.
My fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening. Have you ever been in a situation where you are given a performance or you have been asked to do something, and while doing it or after doing it, you feel like you were not prepared? I see that many of you relate with that. By definition, preparation is the act or action of being ready, making ready for something. When I'm not prepared, or when I feel that I'm not prepared enough, I start going through different emotions that affect my mental state. I feel frustration. I feel sometimes anger. I feel embarrassment. And what about that stress caused by the repetition of the same thing over and over? You should have done that. You could have done this. I should have said that. I should have done things differently. Have you ever felt like that before? I see that many of you relate with that. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I was invited to give a presentation at a conference that was sponsored by the company that I used to work with. It was a technical presentation. I was very familiar with the topic, but I prepared. I researched. I prepared my slides. I rehearsed. I practiced. I was ready for it. The day of the presentation, it was a success, total success. I received many accolades. People were congratulating me. And one of the organizers of the event came up to me and asked me if I was willing to give the presentation again at an upcoming event a few weeks after. I was so excited, so pumped up by the success of that event that I didn't hesitate to say yes. What I didn't take into consideration was that it was a completely different event, completely different audience, bigger, better, different. But I didn't do anything to make my experience go differently. I didn't see the presentation, the slides that I had prepared for the previous event until the very last day of the presentation. I'm not going to go over the details of what transpired during that presentation because of the time that I have for these, but I probably go over it at a different speech. What I have to say in summary that it didn't go as expected. The result was not even close to what I experienced in the previous one. I was not prepared. Nowadays, when I'm looking into how to be prepared for events like that, or for any situation in life, I go through a framework that I made up. It's called my lab framework. Learn, adjust, and practice. I learn about the audience, the expectations. What are the objectives? What are they expecting to get from what I'm going to say? I adjust. If I would have known about the previous event that was going to be bigger, to hundreds and hundreds of people with big screens and lights and everything, that was totally different from a classroom-like setting where the other presentation took place, I would have done things differently. So we need to learn, adjust, and practice. So I would like to encourage all of you to find your framework to be prepared under any circumstance. I learned a few years ago that even for impromptu situations, the people who you see very confident, they're even prepared for those impromptu situations. They're constantly asking questions themselves and replying every day so that they are prepared for when those situations occur. Even for impromptu situations, you can prepare. Now, go and find whatever framework works best for you and apply to yourself. But always remember to always be prepared. Madam Toastmaster.
Always be prepared. That was an awesome, and you know what, me being prepared, I just set things down. And that's just not what we should do. We should be prepared, but we have a team. Thank you. And it's so funny that my next point of some of our favorite themes just happens to be to overcome and use overcome your fear or Lord Jesus, I can't even talk today. Sounds like I'm not prepared, right? Or present your message. And sometimes when we have to do something like Elvis was saying, have you ever been up and you felt like you didn't do it well? Nobody knows unless you said something. I sing at church and other places, and I might forget words. I have learned how to just throw a word in there. It's kind of like how we do table topics. Probably why I love table topics, because I like to ad lib. So if you can't remember the words to the song, you just ad lib, or you just say hallelujah, or you just wave your hand. So you find things to do. And so sometimes to overcome your fears, you need to find something to do to change that thread and that thing in your mind that says, oh, I'm not good at this. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't speak up. Or they're going to hear me say, so the stutter, whatever it is. You can be used in that. And that is a part of your story. And once you embrace who you are, that fear will turn into your superpower. So with that, I'm going to go on and move on into our next speaker. It is our past president. No, she's president again. Is immediate past president. You got to say that stuff right. You know, you got to say things right. But I wanted to acknowledge that. But Vanessa Waller, and she's going to speak. And I don't think I've ever heard Vanessa speak. So this is a treat for me. she's always doing evaluations, but now today we get to hear her do a speech. And I am so happy to present to some and introduce to others a proposal for water utility management. Over to you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening, and welcome Queen City Toastmasters. Tonight, I'm delighted to discuss a topic that I cherish as a consultant working with water utilities. And for many people, the topic of water utilities sounds incredibly dry, but I will try to make it generally understandable and somewhat interesting tonight. And I'm trying to present a proposal for a utility manager to help them deal with inflation, because we all know inflation is the #1 economic problem everyone is talking about. We're certainly thinking about it this time of year as we're thinking about purchasing Christmas gifts or any other holiday gifts for our loved ones. But utilities in particular have a lot to worry about when they look at inflation. And that is because they have to pay for incredibly expensive projects. A water utility has to fund everything from the water treatment plant that turns dirty water into clean water that makes it to your tap. They have to construct complicated networks of water pipes underground to get that water to your house. And all of this costs so much money. And the problem with inflation is that the cost of labor, as well as the cost of materials, has gone up and up and up. And utility managers are thinking, okay, we have to figure something out. We have to raise our prices. But there's another problem. You can't just keep raising your prices without thinking about your customers. And if inflation wasn't bad enough, customers are also using less water. That's a good thing for the environment. And it's not so great if you are in charge of a utility's finances, because you sell water and that's how you make your money. And when customers are using less, you have to figure out a way to charge them a little bit more just so you can keep up with the cost of inflation. So how do we deal with these competing problems? We have the need to raise rates, and we also have the need to keep customer bills affordable. I propose that benchmarking in 3 different ways is a really useful first step for a utility manager to consider when dealing with these complicated problems. One idea that can really help is a simple form of benchmarking, which is just listing other utilities in your region of the country and looking up how much are they charging. Because so many times, if you're a utility manager, you know how much your costs are, but you may not be thinking about what other people are charging around you. And you may think that your bills are too high. You may be getting a lot of angry phone calls with customers saying, my bill is too high, you keep raising the prices. But you may not actually know if your bill is reasonable or not if you don't know what other people around you are charging. This is the simplest way to get a feeling of how affordable your bills are. And the reason this is important is that city councils need convincing. Whenever you want to raise rates for something like a public utility that impacts constituents, you know there will be politicians who do not want that because they want their customers to simply be happy that they're paying less. The problem with paying less is that the expensive infrastructure that keeps your water safe and clean doesn't get funded. So that's not really an option, but city council needs convincing. And if you show them a list of what you are charging versus what others in your area are charging, that might be just the thing that they need to say, okay, we'll go ahead and raise those prices. Now, what about affordability? Affordability is the issue of customers simply not being able to pay their bills. This is a really difficult problem that the whole country is facing in the utility sector, because the fact is that water rates have been going up year over year. And with inflation, it's probably going to get worse. And there will be customers who are worried about paying their bills on time. Well, one benchmarking approach, my second suggestion, is looking at the EPA's thresholds for affordability. The EPA actually publishes guidelines for how you can establish whether your bills are affordable or whether they're not so affordable, depending on the median household income in your area. And if utility managers would use this more often, they may be able to show that in fact our bills are mostly affordable for most people. And maybe there is just one area that maybe needs a little extra help with their bills. Okay, so what if that doesn't work? Well, that brings me to my third point, which is customer assistance programs. You can benchmark to see what other utilities are doing to assist their customers that are in need. This may take the form of postponing payments, putting customers on a special payment plan. You may have utilities that look into partnering with a nonprofit organization, some kind of charitable group that will connect people with the resources they need. There's even federal funding that is available to help customers pay their water bills in a timely fashion. So, okay, we've got these three solutions. We have listing other bills in your area, we have affordability from the EPA, and we have customer assistance programs. That is a great place to start. Benchmarking is an excellent place to start because data is convincing, but it can't totally replace the soft skills of good communication, empathy, especially skills that we learn here in Toastmasters, like communicating on the fly when you maybe don't know what to say to an angry city council member who is demanding to know why you're raising your rates. However, benchmarking as a good place to start will get you well on your way. If you are a utility manager, or even if you're just a concerned citizen thinking more about where your water comes from when you turn on the tap. And with that, I'll turn it back to our Toastmaster.
Awesome, 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 awesome. I know when she said, when I introduced the speech and I said it's going to be about water, we were like, And then she started speaking, and a lot of what she said is a lot of things that we use in business. You need to look at your customer, your competition, and see what they're doing. You need to take in consideration your customer, who they are, what they have going on. So some of the things that she's brought up is things that we need to use in our own companies, our own businesses, our own lives. Because a lot of times we're so stuck on, and this being Given Tuesday is really a good thing, because we're so stuck on what we have going on from our perspective that we don't see the perspective from others around us. Why are they standing on the corner? Well, you don't know how they got there, but we assume we know, and that they can do better because we can do better. They can do better. So we have to put in our mindset and put other people on our forefront, put other people's perspectives, even in business and your personal life, and perspective of what people may be going through. This is a time where people are full of joy and happy, joy, thankful. We just left Thanksgiving and people are thankful. There are some people that are not thankful right now. So you need to consider your words carefully. Consider others. I have a habit of saying happy holidays. And originally my thing was going to be the numerous holidays that are between Thanksgiving and New Year's. And I know a lot of them, and I know a lot about a lot of them because I studied them. But I said, no, we're going to do something a little different today. But I needed to bring that up because I felt like some people may be underweight of missing loved ones or missing opportunities, and they are looking at this season of joy in a different manner. And part of our theme is your favorite themes, right? You must do the thing which you think you cannot do. And I meant to say that is Eleanor Roosevelt. And I love that quote. And I wanted to share that with us today. And then number 3, we need to develop and be comfortable in our delivery style. I know that my delivery style always includes some type of music, some type of lyrics, some type of rhyme, some type of theatrics. I love it. That's where I thrive. I used to be told my voice is too loud. So I would try to sing like this to blend in. And then they're like, we can't hear you. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? I'm not gonna say what what I thought, but I'm kind of, darn if I do, I'm darn if I don't. So I'm like, you have to just be comfortable and know what your strong power. So say that you have a loud voice, right? And you're singing with the crowd, a group, and you don't want to overpower the group. I've learned to pull the microphone to here. Because my voice is loud. It will carry the whole section, the whole alto section. But I need to make sure that when I'm not overpowering everyone else and letting everybody else be heard and seen. That makes sense. So sometimes it's not dummying down who you are. It's not taken aback, but it's actually being comfortable and becoming the person you're meant to be. And today we're going to see how much you are comfortable and who you're meant to be, because I'm going to call up one of my other people that are going to help me out. And I should have called him earlier. I don't know why I didn't. Please forgive me, Jamie. Oh, we got a time. We do have a timers report. I always do that. Every time I'm the Toastmaster today. See, I'm comfortable in making mistakes because look, I'm like a human eraser. I make mistakes. If God didn't want us to make mistakes, trust me, it would not be erasers on them pencils. So I'm one of them erasers. All right, he made it just for me. So I'm going to call up my timer, Miss Sonia Pond. Toastmaster Sonia, are you ready to give us a timers report for our two speakers?
I am ready to give you a timers report. I'm proud to say we did not have to call on Dr. Laxer. There was no sunburn today. Elvis came in at 6:07 and Vanessa at 6 minutes and 49 seconds. Thank you for allowing me to share, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia. Let's give everybody a hand. If we were in a competition right now, which is coming up, so everybody start preparing, because we want to win again this year. Okay. All right. They would be winner. They would be eligible to continue in the competition. They wouldn't be disqualified. So we are going to move on, and we're going to move on to our table topics master, and that is Mr. Jamie Richardson. He's going to take us through some wonderful exercises where you get to practice some of the things I taught you today.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So as Andrea said, I am our table topics master for this evening, and that means I will be facilitating this portion that allows all of us to practice our impromptu speaking. I love this section because it gives us an opportunity to get to know each other. I always find out interesting factoids about people. When you put them on the spot, they tend to focus in on the things that matter the most to them. So that's some of the questions that I've got today, are some things that will help us get to know each other. And so we have 1 to 2 minutes for our table topics speakers, and you'll have a 30-second grace period. We're not going to have a ballot counter. So this is just for fun and for the thrill of the competition. So let me see if we have any volunteers. We do. Welcome, Junior. It's great to have you back. Good to see you. All right, your question: what is an heirloom or a memento that you inherited from a friend or from family that you cherish?
My dad always taught me to work hard. It was something that I developed as a kid, and I pushed myself constantly throughout my life. And that's what got me to this point here. I believe that working hard works. It was the only thing that I truly had on my side. I wasn't the smartest kid. I never got A's. I never got B's, but I worked for those C's. And they meant a lot to me because I put in the time and I put in that effort. But one thing that working hard made me realize was that I can work hard at my life and my passions. And when I started working hard on my passions, that's when I started getting those A's and those B's in college. And it just made me just very valuable in the workplace and in my life. So that's it.
Thank you, Junior. So inherited a work ethic. I like it. All right, our next question. Do we have a volunteer in person or on Zoom? On Zoom? Is there a hand up?
Here, I'll volunteer.
All right. Hey, Leon.
Hey,
All right, Leon, your question. What is a skill or ability that you wish you possessed and why?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Jamie. If there was a skill that I could say that I wish that I possessed, it would probably have to be. That's a good one. This is a good question. I would probably have to say, of course, as most people, I wish I was a little bit better with time management. And one of the reasons why is because we all know that time is valuable and that we must cherish each day. But in the pursuit of your dreams and your goals and your aspirations, having the ability to manage your time and better yet, prioritize it effectively can help you get from point A to point B a lot quicker. And one of the key things that I've recently been doing to improve in this area of my life is to look into techniques that help better allow you to maximize your time, such as task only expand as far as the time that you allow it. So setting personal deadlines, saying that I'm going to work on something for only an hour. Another one, I believe it's called the Promodio technique. It's doing work in 25-minute increments with 5-minute breaks for about 4 sets, and then taking a 30-minute break after you do those 5 sets to help you stay focused. And overall, I have been seeing some improvements. So it's always a skill that I'm always looking to develop. Thank you.
And you came in time, so the skills are paying off. You came in right at a minute and a half. Congratulations. All right, I've got 2 more questions for intrepid volunteers. Any of our guests? All right, yes. Adrian? All right, you ready for your question?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, here is your question. If you could have another or ideal career, what would it be and why?
Another ideal career. I would like to be an attorney because I like the analytical thinking and the critical thinking that most attorneys have to do on behalf of their clients. And by nature, I'm a talker, and I like to do research and find out the background and the history of things, and just wanting to help people. The justice system is designed to help the innocent. It's not to, judge them guilty before they have a chance to defend themselves, and just be a voice for people that are voiceless. That would be something that I would like to help people do. Thank you.
That was a very noble response. And I love that the stand-up comedian wants to be an attorney as their alternative career. I don't know what the joke is in there, but there's got to be one. All right, I've got one more question. Nick? All right, we've got one more here. Our newest member, Nick, is joining us. So this question came up, or I wrote it literally today because of one of the things that folks shared earlier. So in honor of Giving Tuesday, what is a nonprofit or charitable organization that has meaning for you?
Thank you. The first one that comes to mind as far as a organization that means a lot to me is located down in South Carolina. It's a place called Lisa's House. And it became important to me about 2 years ago, well, 3 years ago now, when my father suffered from dementia. It is a house that helps people for the caregivers. So it wasn't focused on helping my father, it was focused on helping my mother, because she spent all her time and efforts being a caretaker to him when he was no longer able to. And if any of you have ever been in that situation or know somebody that has, it is an intense calling for somebody to take care of another human being for all their needs. So this organization, Lisa's House, gave her access to different organizations to help people out, or just to go hang out with other people going through similar situations that she could go and talk to and give her support, and also support others there going through some of the same things. So it became very important in my life, and I'm very thankful that they were there to help my mother through one of very difficult times of her life, and very appreciative of the organization of Lisa's House. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. That sounds like a very cool organization. And thank you to all of our table topic speakers. You accomplished exactly what I was hoping to accomplish, which is to share a little bit about yourselves. I got to know a little bit more about all of you. That's what I love about this session. So I'm going to ask for a timers report.
Yes, again, Dr. Laxer's gone out of business. Junior came in 1 minute and 7 seconds. Leon, 1 minute and 38 seconds. Adrian, 46 seconds. And Nick, 1 minute and 35 seconds. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I will now turn it back to our Toastmaster.
And I'll just be up here for a brief second. So thank you, Toastmaster Jamie, for those inspiring questions and thought-provoking questions, because I was sitting there, I don't know if you guys do this, but they ask a question and I sit there and I answer it in my head of what I would have said. So I do that. That's just me. I told you I'm quirky. I told you I'm comfortable with it. I don't know about you. So we're going to have some of our favorite themes in Toastmasters is our evaluations portion of the meeting. And it's where we get feedback for the things that we presented, where we can improve and how well we did and what we can do to make our speech even more effective. So today, our general evaluator is... This is a long agenda today, by the way. Gotta go to the second page. So our general evaluator today is Sean Sobel, and he's going to bring up some more of our wonderful team today.
Right. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honorable guest. As we go through this portion of our evening, we cherish all our speakers here, and we really appreciate the evaluators who take the time to come up here and help them improve. So what I would like to do right now is introduce our first evaluator that we have, who will be evaluating Elvis, well, for his speech, and that is Colin. Please help me welcome Colin up to the stage.
Thank you very much, Sean. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and a special acknowledgement to Elvis. Elvis, that was a masterful speech. I feel like I'm going to be letting you down in this evaluation because I won't be providing sufficient criticism. It was a joy to watch, and I'll break it down into 3 sections. First, your presence, your delivery, and then the content of the speech. What I loved so much about your physical presence is when you came up to the lectern here, you took a moment before you said anything and you kind of scanned the audience. Seemed like you were just cherishing the moment. You know, you were kind of projecting your presence into the room. I thought that as an audience member, I found that very engaging. I'm definitely going to try to replicate that next time I give a speech of my own. Something I've always admired about you is you're very at ease in front of a crowd. I think that, just because you've been part of the club for a long time, maybe that's a great example of what some newer members such as myself can aspire to through continuing to attend meetings, is to get to your level of comfort in front of an audience. I think personally, and this is something that is probably one of your characteristics, you ooze this warmth as a person. I think it's your eye contact. I think it's how relaxed your face seems to be. I don't know if I'm just a victim of some of the modern stresses that we're subject to, but I feel tense a lot of the time. And I feel like that shows in my face a lot, but your face is always so relaxed. Your brow is not kind of scrunched. You seem very comfortable and present and at ease. And I know I keep using the same adjectives over and over, but you just embody them so well. And I think that all of these kind of culminate into this experience as an audience member where your tone is, it can't be differentiated from the conversational tone that you have when I'm speaking to you one-on-one. And when I'm watching you speak, it almost seems like you're not speaking to a group of people, but you're speaking to me personally. And maybe some other people here have felt that, you know, in your speech this evening. In terms of your delivery, I thought it was supremely clear. You know, I didn't have a problem hanging on to whatever word you said. I thought your intonation and vocal variety were superior. I think they were tailored super well to the content. I think the content was more kind of like giving advice. And I think that, you know, you delivered it gently. You inflected at the right moments. I thought you did a really good job when you were kind of listing things off. You know, for example, one that sticks out to me is, you know, I practiced, I rehearsed, I was ready. You know, I thought that there were several instances where you kind of went through a list of different activities or different things, and you really used speed and intonation to really great effect in those moments. To give you one thing to work on, I would say volume. There was probably 2 or 3 moments where, and I could hang on to everything you said, but I had to strain a little bit to hear. And I know that perhaps you're a more soft-spoken person. I think that that actually draws attention in. So that's a strength. I'm not saying to kind of with brute force, like pound everyone with volume and shouting, but we do have an air duct back there. You know, the acoustics of this room are a little strange. I think we do have to maybe lean into a little bit more volume in an environment like this, whereas maybe you don't in some other venues where you might find yourself speaking. And in terms of the content, I thought it was very well structured, super easy to follow. The language that you chose was very approachable. You didn't use any 10-cent words when a 5-cent word would do. I just thought it was an excellent speech for the subject matter. And, you know, in terms of this pathway, it seems like it's more about relational sort of topics. I think that it's probably really well suited to your strengths. It should be in your ballpark. So I'm excited to see what other speeches you pull out.
All right, thank you, Colin. Very well done. At this time, I'd like to now introduce our second speaker who will be evaluating Vanessa, and that will be Jenny. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Jenny.
Thank you, fellow Toastmaster Sean. My name is Jenny, and I'm going to be evaluating Vanessa. And I can tell you that I really cherish water. So I appreciate that you are in this industry because it's really important. And it's always a pleasure to see Vanessa give a speech. And I know she's been with the organization for a really long time. So with that, I broke it out into 3 distinct categories, similar to our other evaluator. So content, structure, and presentation. And just to dive into it, I know although water is the source of all life and really important, the ability to create a proposal for water utility management might not be the most sexiest topic to talk about. But what I appreciated about how you opened it up, Vanessa, was that you touched upon something that's really trending right now. Everybody's feeling the impacts of inflation. So I thought that really hooked the audience in terms of they're feeling it, they're reading about it in the news, they're feeling it, you know, when they go to the store. So it's a topic of concern. So the relatability factor I thought was really good. Then you kind of took us through what is water utility and why it's important. So for a topic that is pretty technical in terms of like, if you're not in that industry, you really just don't understand like what goes into that. So I thought that was a really good way to introduce that, you know, early on. So we really understood, you know, kind of what your approach was. The other thing in terms of content that you touched on, which I think we can all connect to, that there's 2 opposing goals, which makes this a very challenging effort, right? So there's the idea, like, how do you keep up with like sustainability goals and the environment and what's important there, but then, you know, reduce the cost for us as consumers. So I think exposing that challenge or pain point in your process, was a good angle to take there too. In terms of structure, the ability that you laid it out in terms of like your actual process, right? So what were the 3 phases that you needed to take in order to develop that proposal, right? So benchmarking as one, affordability, and then customer assistance. So walking us through those 3 different areas, I think was a really good add too. In terms of your presentation, I think you're always very comfortable when you're giving a speech, which is nice to see. You have really good use of just being confident in terms of like using pauses and not. You're very clean and clear and not using a lot of filler words, which I'm sure I'm doing tons now. But I think, anytime I hear you give a speech, I really appreciate that about your ability to, when you're doing public speaking. Some things that I thought would be like just areas of improvement, because it is such a technical topic that is a little bit unsexy, like using some visual aids, opening up with like a hook point of some sort that would really kind of paint the picture of, water and how us as consumers, like we have access to clean water here in Charlotte in the United States, and it's really a luxury. So something like really dramatic, I think, would really like open our eyes to why the work you're doing is so important. So that would be kind of an idea for you in that same lane, using storytelling is something that's so highly technical that, you're walking us through that process. Infusing some stories, I think, just helps really kind of make that connection with the audience. So that would be just a piece of advice in terms of a future presentation that is on the more technical end. I think you have a very calm voice, similar to Elvis too, which is a strength, but using a little bit more inflections, just kind of a little bit more vocal variety, particularly when it's a topic of this nature, I think keeps the audience engaged a bit more. So I would consider that as sort of a point of feedback. And then probably like at the end, I was thinking maybe just closing with like impact. I know you're always good at summarizing what the overall presentation is about, so that like, people come away with it with like a clear plan, but I'm not sure like I got that at the very end. So just some kind of either statement or recap on your process, and then what are we taking away from this in terms of the actual topic. So that's overall, I think it was a great speech, and that's my feedback. Great.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Jenny. Both our evaluators did a great job. It's difficult. It takes a different skill. Once a speaker is up here, you have to write. You have a certain amount of time in which you're given to construct your feedback. And both of our evaluators did a great job. They went through our speakers' speeches. They're able to break them down, and they provided constructive feedback on how they can improve. So great job, both Colin and Jenny on tonight and giving their evaluations. At this time, I would like to ask our timer and get a timer's report.
Fantastic. Our 2 evaluators actually cherished their stock in sunscreen. Colin came in at 4 minutes and 17 seconds. And our second evaluator, I'm sorry, I missed her name, came in at 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. At this time, I'd like to just give some basic feedback. We started on time, which was great. And we were able, what I really liked was that we'll start off with the word of the day. Eric, I really liked the fact that we had the word of the day prepared. And so when our Toastmaster came up here, or I believe when you had to come up here, you were able to just flip it over instead of stumble and try to paste the word of the day somewhere around here. So that was very good. I really like that. One improvement we could make is to reinforce the word of the day throughout the evening. So that's one thing that we can improve on. Another thing I liked was our table topics. Jamie, you did a great job. I like the topics that you had. They're very personal. So we got to know a little bit more about our group here. So good job on that. Also on our Toastmaster for this evening, really good job with the transitions. Every time we have someone come up here and then leave, right? We're going from role to one other role. Our Toastmaster is able to have an opinion or have an expression or talk about the previous speaker who was up here. So they provided extra commentary on what the previous speaker did. So I think that our Toastmaster of the day did a great job doing that. So good job there. More improvements. No, we had the word of the day. That was fine. We had a great theme as well. That was good. And at this point in time, I'm going to turn this over, I believe, back to our Toastmaster. No, I'm forgetting the grammarian. Please help me welcome Dr. Laxer to take us through our uhs and ums.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sean. And I will go through filler words, then word of the day, and then point out a few phrases that people said that I think are worth remembering. There were not a lot of filler words today. People who had no filler words when they spoke included Heather, Sonia, Elvis, Vanessa, Jamie, Leon. I was almost an unemployed grammarian tonight. And then we had a few people who had just a small amount of filler words. Andrea, you said a couple of ands, likes, and Junior, you said so one time. Nick, you said a few times. Colin, a few you knows. Jenny, your favorite filler words were and then I think a couple of you knows. And Sean, just one And so as a group, I think if we average those all out, that was pretty good, everybody. Word of the day, kudos to Elvis. Thank you for using it. Andrea, Sonia, who used it 3 times, Vanessa, Jamie, Leon, Colin, Jenny, and Sean. So really good use of the word cherish to our entire team. And then we had some amazing phrases that people said tonight. I'll repeat a couple of them. I like what Junior said. I believe that working hard works. Adrian said at some point in her answer, be a voice for people who are voiceless. That's a great message for all of us. Andrew, you had a bunch of them. Just to give you a couple, once you embrace yourself, your fear will turn into, I think you said personal power. Is that right? Yeah. And you also said, use and find your voice, speak up. And then I want to end with excellent phrases that Heather had multiple, but the take-home message from Heather's motivational part at the beginning was the ripple effect. So if I want everybody to leave this meeting with one thing, is to remember the ripple effect. If you pass a smile on to one person, they're going to pass that on to multiple people. And that is the end of the grammarian report. And I would now like to turn this back to our Toastmaster of the day, Andrea.
I was hoping he didn't say this one because I wanted to say it. Why use a 10-cent word when you can use a 5-cent word? I'm sorry, I had to say it. That was good. That was good. So I will leave you today. Again, I would love for everybody to remember the favorite themes of Toastmasters, because if you use your voice, face your fears, be comfortable with your presentation, guess what? You will do just what Toastmasters has asked of all of us, or has set out for all of us, and that is to become the leaders of tomorrow, today. And I just wanted to leave you with my favorite things. My favorite things, of course, I'm going to speak on my books because that's all I do. I got tired of talking about books at the Mary Market this weekend. Lord Jesus, I did, but I cannot stop. And you know why I can't stop? Because we all have dreams. We've all been the good little caterpillars, but we all can learn to fly if we all just do our favorite things. And thank you for allowing me to lead us through this meeting today. And I'm going to turn this over to our president, Mr. Elvis Lopez, because my job here today is done.
Thank you, Andrea. Please help me with another round of applause for our Toastmaster of the day. Excellent, excellent job, everyone. Before closing up today, I would like to recognize our newest member. Nick, please come over. Newest member of Queen City Toastmaster.
Thank you very much.
Welcome aboard.
Appreciate it.
And now I would like to go back to our guests. Please, I promise this will be the last time. Please tell us what you think overall about the meeting, how it went. So I would like to go back to the people online, but I think she left. Right, so I will pass it on to Andrea.
It was great. I enjoyed it. I love how structured it is. I love how people are so friendly. So I will definitely come back. It was amazing. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It's good to have you here. And I will go this way now.
I love it. I love that I'm closer to home. So it's nothing for me to get here. And I like the friendliness and I like the positivity. And I need all that.
Thank you for being here. And now, Mrs. Laxer.
Thank you. Firstly, thank you so much for accepting me here tonight. It's been an incredible experience. I could see why Eric likes to come here every week. And it's very obvious that this is a group of incredibly talented, warm, and just a wonderfully respectful environment. And it's just a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. And I would like to give the opportunity to, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have some sister clubs. We have Alan, who is the president of Valentine Toastmasters. If you have any announcement, I would give you the opportunity to introduce also your club and speak up to our members.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alan Assad. I am the president of Valentine Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmaster for 5 years in April. And to anyone who is new to Toastmasters or is a guest, I can attest to what a wonderful organization it is, not just in terms of improving your public speaking skills, but also in terms of becoming a more effective leader, a networker, and then just more intrinsic rewards like improving your self-confidence, socializing, making friends, and just learning how to be vulnerable in front of people. And I have a name tag, not because I'm a member of this club, but just because I've been here so many times that David just kind of made me an honorary member, which I'm happy to be an honorary member. And I do like to come up here when my schedule affords me. And normally I make a shameless plug for Valentine Toastmasters, which meets every Thursday night. And I guess I kind of just did that too. But I am having a Christmas party at my house this upcoming Saturday night. And a couple people from this club will be there. David's going to get us drunk with Jello shots, my favorite snack. And a few other people are going to be there as well. Not just from this club, but from like at least 2 other clubs. And then people from my job, from church, neighbors, and so on. As of right now, I have over 30 people who have said they're coming. So it should be a good turnout. And I have a pretty decent sized house. There'll be plenty of room to spread out. And there was no drama last year, and hopefully there won't be any this year. So thank you. And I have my information. If anyone wants it.
Thank you so much, Alan. It's always good to have you here. And with that, I would, oh, okay. Well, Sonia, go ahead, take it away.
Oh, hi, family. It is always a pleasure to come hang out with you guys. Thank you so much for giving us the space to stretch ourselves. I know Carla is also here from South Park Toastmasters. We feel at home when we come, and thanks for allowing us to come back. Thank you.
Yeah. Carla, would you like to say something? She left. Okay, well, with that, I would like to thank you all again for coming here. We will be here next week. Please have a wonderful night, and we'll see you back next week. Thank you.
Thank you.